Hello Year 2 and welcome to your first online geography lesson. So today we're going to be starting our new topic on the local area. But before we do that, it's important that we know how to navigate, how to get around our local area. So we're going to be looking at how compass points can help us navigate. Now, we looked at compass points, didn't we, when we looked at oceans and seas? But let's see how much you can remember about it. So to begin with, can you look at these pictures for me? What do they all have in common? Tell the screen. Yes, that's right. They're all maps, aren't they? But what is a map? Well, a map is a drawing of a landscape or a place that use lines and symbols to represent real life objects. So, for example, there could be a line that represents a railway track, or there could be a symbol that represents a building. But also on a map, we can find natural features like rivers and mountains. And there are lots of different types of maps that we use for different purposes. Have you ever used a map before? And if you have, what did you use the map for? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, shall we have a look at some examples of some maps? So the first one in the top corner. This is called a sketch map. And a sketch map is a map that someone has drawn and it shows only basic features. So it's very easy to use. It's not very complicated at all, is it? Then next to that, there's a railway map. Now, a railway map helps you to navigate all of the trains in Great Britain on this picture, so people know how to get to different places on the train. Next to it, there's what's called an Ordnance Survey map. Now, an Ordnance Survey map shows you landmarks, rivers, roads, railways, villages and towns. It can also tell you how tall a mountain is. Now, underneath that, you might know about this map. You might have seen it before on a phone. Well, this map helps you when you're walking or when you're in the car to know where you're going and how to get to places. And you can put different locations in, can't you? And it will tell you, it'll give you instructions about how to get there. And next to that map, there's a world map. Now, we use world maps when we're looking at oceans and seas. It tells you where all the countries are in the world and the oceans. And so you can see where one country is in relation to another, or where one ocean is in relation to another ocean. And lastly, the last one on this page. Now, this one looks rather complicated, doesn't it? This is a road map. Now, people don't tend to use these anymore because most people use their phones, but some people have them in their car and it helps them navigate when they're driving around. Let's look at some more. So here we have a scavenger hunt map. Now, a scavenger hunt map is very fun, isn't it, when you're trying to find the treasure? Next to that, we have the tube map. Now, did you know that there was an underground train in London? Well, this map helps people to navigate around the underground train to go to different places in London. Underneath that, there's a weather map. Now, a weather map tells you what the weather's like all over the world by showing you pictures and by using different colours. Then lastly, there's the theme park map. Now, if you've ever been to a theme park, you'll know that when you enter, they give you a map so you know where different rides are. Now, I know you've seen this before, but can you remember what it's called and what it's used for? Yes, that's right, it's called a compass rose. Now, most maps will have a compass rose in the corner, and it shows the direction of north, east, south, and west. And remember, we learned a way of remembering the different directions. Naughty elephants squirt water. And we also learned never eat shredded wheat. Now, when we're reading maps, we use what is called directional language. So that's saying north, south, east, and west. And it helps us describe the location of features and routes on the map. So you could say, the beach is east of where I'm standing. And then you'll know how to get there. You could also say that the Indian Ocean is south of Asia, Remember, we learnt that in our oceans and seas topic. Now, a compass is not always a compass rose. You can also have a physical compass. And some maps, like Ordnance Survey maps, you will get a physical compass, and it works exactly the same, but it's not just on paper, it's physical. Now, there's other directional language we can use as well. There's forwards, back, up, down. There's other examples as well, above, below, behind, and in front. And that helps us to know where we are going. Now, here's the physical compass that I was talking about. They are believed to have been invented more than 800 years ago. And they work by the force of magnetism. So there's a compass needle, the arrow, and the arrow pulls by using a magnet towards north. So if we have a compass and we need to know where to go, we can get our compass out. It will show us north. And then from north, we'll be able to know where north, east, south, and west are. Okay, here we have a pirate treasure map. What can you see on my pirate treasure map? Well, we can have a ship, we have a crocodile, a treasure chest, a pirate, a tree. We also have a palm tree, a shark, and an octopus. Now, we're going to use this map to practice our directional language. So, let's start with the pirate. If the pirate went north, what would he get to? Have a look at the compass rose and have a look where north is. Tell the screen, where would he get to if he went north? Yes, that's right, he'd get to the treasure chest, wouldn't he? Now, what would he get to if he went south? Remember, south is opposite to north. So if he got to the treasure chest going north, what would he get to if he went south? Yes, that's right, he'd get to the tree, wouldn't he? What about if he went east? What would he get to? Tell the screen. Yes, you're right. He'd get to the crocodile, wouldn't he? Fantastic, well done. What about if he went west? Look at the compass rose again, and that will help you. What would he get to if he went west? Yes, you're right, he'd get to two different things, wouldn't he? First of all, he'd get to the palm tree, and after that, he'd get to the shark. Well done. Now, what if the pirate started at the treasure chest and he wanted to get to the ship? What way would he have to go? In what direction would he have to go? If he was at the treasure chest, he wanted to get to the ship. Have a look at the compass rose and tell the screen. Yes, you're right. He'd have to go east, wouldn't he? Fantastic. Well done. What about if he was at the shark and he needed to get to the octopus? Tell the screen, what direction would he have to go in? Use the compass rose again. Yes, you're right. He'd have to go south to get to the octopus, wouldn't he? Fantastic, well done. Now, because you're so good at this, we're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to describe and give instructions how to get to different objects on the treasure map. So let's do the first one together. How would the octopus get to the shark? Well, the octopus would have to go north, wouldn't he? But how many squares north would he have to go? Yes, that's right. He'd have to go 2 squares north, wouldn't he? Fantastic. And if he did that, he'd get to the shark. Now, pause the video and I want you to have a think. How would the boat get to the treasure? Okay, pause the video now. Okay, should we see if you were correct? So, the boat would have to go west, wouldn't it, to get to the treasure chest? But how many squares? Yes, 2 squares to the west. Well done. Now let's try a harder one now. How would the crocodile get to the tree at the bottom? Now, there's more than one way that he could get there. Have a go. Pause the video and have a think. Okay, shall we see if you were right? As I said, there's lots of different answers to this one. Well, he could go 2 squares to the south and 2 squares to the west. He could also go 1 square to the west, 2 squares to the south, and then 1 more square to the west. Or he could go 2 squares to the west, and he'd be at the pirate then go 2 squares to the south. There's lots of different ways that he could get there, but those are the quickest ways, aren't they? Okay, let's try another one. How would the octopus get to the treasure chest? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, there are lots of ways, and I'm sure you've thought of lots of ways, but let's have a look. Right, so he could go 4 squares north and then go 2 squares east. Well done. Or he could go 2 squares east and then 4 squares north. There are lots of different ways. Now, what I want you to do for your task is I've attached a worksheet that's called Year 2 Geography 8th of January resource, and it has the picture of this map but without the features. What you need to do is put the features on the map where you'd like them, and then I want you to give instructions of how different things, so the shark, the octopus, the crocodile and the pirate, got to the other different features using, for example, 2 squares to the north, 3 squares to the east. Now, if you don't have a printer, don't worry. Just draw a map a little bit like this. Make sure it's got the squares on it though, and then you can draw the different features. Looking forward to seeing your instructions, Year 2. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.